Hey guys, Drutter here. It's July 8th, 2023. And hello to Blurt and Steem and Hive blockchains, where I post regularly, and hello to YouTube, where I haven't actually uploaded much for a while, and BitChute and all the other platforms that I'll be uploading this to, Odyssey and so forth. Nice to see you, or at least to be talking to you. As you can see, we're in my backyard. That's my garden. It's a little bit windy this afternoon. And we're getting a little bit of a break from the direct sunshine. We got a tiny bit of cloud cover here, so I thought I'd just come outside. It's about 6 o'clock. We just passed the peak heat of the day, which was 35 degrees Celsius, which I guess is about 95 Fahrenheit. And I live in northern Canada. This is, I live in northwestern BC. Let's just say I can see the Alaskan Panhandle. I can see Alaska from my house. So I'm fairly far north, and of course it's just past summer solstice, so we do expect to have a lot of sunshine, but we don't normally expect those kind of temperatures up here. Especially, I'm fairly close to the ocean too, so it should be relatively mild this close to the ocean and this far north, but no. It was 35 degrees today, which a lot of the people in this area are just not used to it. I've lived in the Okanagan part of BC, which is 35 degrees, happens several times every summer. It's nothing too remarkable, but here it is remarkable. This is not usual. So a lot of plants and a lot of wildlife suffering and dying right now because it's just, they're not suited for those temperatures in this area. But anyhow, I thought I would take you quickly through the garden and show you where I am at this point in the year. So let's have a look at this garden, because the last time I came to you, this was nothing. There was no garden here. This backyard was just a barren nothing. So starting here, as you can see, I have some very small, pitiful looking tomato plants, but there's 3 of them here. These are my orange bell tomato plants, which I've grown for, I think, 10 years now. And these are the last 3 remaining specimens. All my seeds were put to use, so hopefully these produce. I'm just trying to nurture them to up to size, and then hopefully they'll flower and produce this year, and I can get my seeds back, because I like these genetics, but fortunately had some issues with seeds and things like that. But everything here was planted from seeds that I collected from past gardens. None of this was bought. This is all from other stuff I've grown in the past, and a lot of these seeds are 10 years old. Some of these tomato plants are 10-year-old seeds. This is a row of Sweet 100 little cherry tomatoes. Most people know that variety. I've grown that for 12 or more years. And these 3 here are, what are they? Old German. They're like baseball-sized yellowish orange. Pretty good. We got some beans, and they were beaten by rains, and then they were early. We had an early heat wave, and they were roasted then, but now they're doing much better, nice and bushy, and obviously starting to produce. I have Swiss chard here. It's not huge yet. I was a little late in planting it. Here's a Roma tomato plant. There was spinach here, but it's finished for the year, so I popped in a tomato plant. We got carrots. I've pulled out a couple. They're coming up in size, the roots, but the tops are sure looking nice. Another couple rows of beans. Now this lettuce has been a real superstar. I'm starting to pull it out as I use it now instead of just taking the leaves, but up till this point I was just taking the leaves, and man, it's a good producer. There's I've had a lot of meals off of this row of lettuce already. So next year I'll be doing probably 2 rows, maybe a red lettuce and this one, or a romaine or something. Now these tomato plants, or potato plants, are starting to look a little mature. They're getting a little bit of watering damage, because when the water sits on the leaves it does this. And this is a nice patch of Yukon Gold, which is obviously a nice yellow, whitish yellow potato, good producer. I have a row of sweet basil. It's not very big, but there's a few of them over there. And the peas is quite a story. The peas, quite a success story this year with the peas. Even despite the heat, they usually don't like heat. So look at them. This is going to be good. These are shelling peas, shelling green peas here. Just looking a little tired after this day that we've had there, but they're doing relatively well. You don't see peas doing very well in the summer very often. So these are the snow peas. Crunchy. There's lots. There can be lots. So you can see my trellises are falling over. I'll work on that for next year. I'm just trying to figure things out here in this garden this year, and then maybe next year I can really expand or do a lot better, but not too shabby so far this year. More potatoes. These are, I think, Danish banana. Don't think I've grown that variety before. Some more tomatoes. These are more Romas here. And then there's a row of those ones. Black plum. Black plum. There's 3 of those and another 4 Romas here. They're small, but these, this was today the first day that these stayed out without being covered. I've had to cover them because they're so small and fragile. I've been covering them to protect against the heat, but I did not today. So that's why they're looking kind of frazzled, but I'm impressed because they're alive. So that means as long as they survive, you know, the next day or so, don't go into shock and shrivel up, that means we've done it, we've got it. We've got flowers on all the potatoes. These are, I think, red nugget potatoes. There's a whole patch of them there, quite a few plants. And this is a row of, I forgot to label it, so I'll have to see what they are when they come up. They're looking thirsty. And these are Amish paste. And they're doing a little better than those other ones I just showed you a minute ago. But still pretty small. I'm hoping that those will do well. They usually do. Amish paste is a very good variety tomato. So that's another big tomato patch. I dug up all this by hand. I've got atrial fibrillation and heart failure now, unfortunately. So if I'm panting, that's kind of why. My heart is failing, and I don't know why. Just past 1.5 years or 2 years I've had heart problems and you know, arrhythmia and stuff like that. Seemed like it was myocarditis. I'm not sure about that now. We're definitely diagnosed with atrial fibrillation though, and heart failure, so that's generally not good. Did 10 years as a nurse, so I know what that means. But I'm just trying to keep my health as good as I can. These are shelling peas as well. Another big trellis full of shelling peas. Those are some nice looking peas. And so I just got to keep watering these because peas don't like it too dry and they don't like it too hot. So today was a bit rough, but not looking too shabby. So that's the garden, and some parts are quite full and some parts are still looking a little empty, but they are full. They just haven't filled in with growth yet. And then back here, this used to all be rough area. It wasn't mowed for a couple of years, so this was all unusable basically. So I've turned it back into more soccer playing area. I play a lot of soccer with my 3-year-old now. And also I put in a fire pit back here, and then a couple small circular gardens. These are sunflowers. They're they're starting to go vertical. They kind of get big, wide, and then they go up. So they're about to go up. And this is a sad-looking little pumpkin we got from the farmer's market. It got shocked for the transplant because we got a heat wave right afterward. Yeah, the weather's been too hot and too dry here. It's very unusual. Very unusual. We're not allowed fires. There's some dry grass in there waiting to be burned up. And this is the other circular garden. These are little carnival squash plants. I think there's 4 here. I'll decide which are the best 1 or 2 and pull out the others. And more sunflowers. So that's it. Just wanted to show you what I got growing right now. Managed to put this garden in while taking care of a baby and a toddler with my disabled wife. We're here on our own. We don't have a lot of help from family, or really any help from family, I guess you could say. Not going to go into that now, but just to say that we've done this on our own. This is the grass, the sod, I guess you could call it, that I've piled up back here. Kind of made a seat or something. I don't know. It'll probably eventually fall over, but works for now. So that's a little bit of an update what's going on for me. And I've really enjoyed putting in this garden. It has it's been fulfilling. It feels like something I was meant to do, was to put this garden in here. Because, you know, food instability and everything, with rampant inflation, food is going up more than 1% per month here in Canada. So a typical item is about $10 now at the store. Like, say, like a you know, decent jar of pasta sauce or something is $10 now, and that's going up by more than $1 per year. So you don't recognize the prices; they're just always changing. And so we are going into a rampant inflation, possibly hyperinflation in the West. So one good idea is a garden. And a backyard with maybe, you know, a fire pit is maybe a good idea. Just some infrastructure that's not tied to the grid, something that you can use for heat or to make water safe, boil water, all that kind of stuff. Stay warm in winter, whatever, to cook food. So just my idea of what I'm doing for my family here. We didn't really intend to move up to northern BC, but there was nowhere to live in where we were in southern BC. There was just literally nowhere to live. We rent, we have income, we have money, but there was nowhere that would take us. We had literally had to move thousands of kilometers to the north to find somewhere so that we wouldn't be literally homeless. There was not even any room in a shelter if we had lost, you know, if we had been not able to find somewhere in time. We would have not even been able to go to a shelter. It's that crazy here with the real estate situation and the number of immigrants, and then just all rentals are filled constantly. There's nowhere to rent. And so we are here and we're making the most of it. This garden is my attempt to be a little more sustainable and to produce some food that I know what went into it for my baby and for my toddler, my 1 and my 3-year-old. Thanks for watching. Just wanted to mention before I go that I did this garden for a total cost of $0. The seeds were all seeds I'd collected, heirloom seeds in the past. I've added no fertilizers or used any products of any kind. This is 100 or even 200% organic. There's nothing but dirt, air, light, and water in any of these plants. And I even used tools that I had brought with me from past gardens. This is a shovel from the 1950s that belonged to my great-grandfather. Talk to you soon.